Here is the Samsung Galaxy S25, the smallest model of this year's S-series flagships. Has Samsung produced a compact flagship worth getting this year? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our Galaxy S25 review. Samsung isn't breaking the mold with the Galaxy S25. Rather than enticing customers with visual changes or higher numbers on the spec sheet, they're sticking to last year's tried and true formula. On paper, the only upgrade here is the new chipset, but let's see if there's more than that. The design is slightly more refined. Well, as in the phone is a whole 0.4mm thinner, which you can't really notice, but the phone does feel nicely slim and compact in the hand. Like before, the flat back panel is made of Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and the frame is made of 2nd Gen Armor aluminum. Samsung is still holding back from trickling down the anti-reflective Gorilla Armor glass that it uses for the Ultra. As ever, you get IP68 rated ingress protection on the Galaxy S25 against dust and water submersion. The display of the phone is a 6.2-inch LTPO OLED with a 1080p resolution, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection, and a 120Hz refresh rate. It's just the same as last year. There isn't even a boost in the max brightness, but it's not like the previous model really needed one. On the Galaxy S25, we measured a maximum of around 750 nits with a manual slider, and this could boost to nearly 1400 nits in auto mode. That's plenty for comfy use outdoors. The display looks good, with plenty of sharpness and contrast, and there's support for HDR10+ video content as well. And thanks to LTPO tech, the screen refresh rate is extra adaptive. To save energy when idling, the S25 can dial down from a smooth 120Hz to 24Hz, or as low as 1Hz in certain scenarios. For audio, the Galaxy S25 has a pair of stereo speakers. They're slightly less loud than last year, still earning a rating of good, but the sound seems richer now with a little more bass. Let's have a listen.
I'm wide awake, but you're a nightmare. I can't escape, I'm seeing you everywhere. Words that you say poison the air.
To wake up and unlock the phone, the S25 has an under-display ultrasonic fingerprint reader. It's really fast and reliable. And you can get the Galaxy S25 with 128, 256, or 512 gigs of storage on board, and 12 gigs of RAM comes standard with all storage tiers. In the place of exciting new hardware changes, Samsung has focused on new software features for its Galaxy S25 series. All of them come with the new One UI 7, based on Android 15. It brings changes like splitting the notification shade into 2 separate pages, accessible by swiping from the top corners of the phone. However, the main updates here are in the AI-based features. The system can understand natural language input, so you can search the settings or gallery for a particular thing you're looking for. And an exciting new development is something called cross-app action. You can ask the Gemini AI assistant to do complex tasks that involve multiple apps. Google and Samsung apps are supported for now. The Circle to Search interface has been updated with a function that can analyze music that's playing and give you info about the song. Other AI-based features include Now Brief. It will give you a summary and stats of your daily schedule. Of course, there are AI-based writing tools like summarization of text and a writing assistant. And the gallery's generative edit is quite powerful. You can add or remove and even resize people and objects in your photos. There's plenty of software support too. Samsung promises 7 years of OS updates and 7 years of security patches. Unlike last year, the Galaxy S25 gets the same chipset in all markets. The Snapdragon 8 Elite is the premium Qualcomm chipset for this year's flagships, and the S25 gets an enhanced version for Galaxy with higher clock speeds. There's a significant jump in performance compared to the Galaxy S24. And in benchmarks, the Galaxy S25 scores chart-topping results across the board. The phone feels just as fast and snappy as you'd expect a flagship to be. The thermal management is also along the lines of your typical flagship. That is, not great. In our prolonged stress tests, the S25 displayed heavy thermal throttling down to around half of the peak performance. The S25 has a 4000 mAh battery, just like last year. Despite the change in chipset, the battery life has stayed about the same, with an overall active use score of 12 hours and 21 minutes. It's solid for the battery size, but nothing too exciting overall. The S25 again supports 25-watt charging, and there's no charger in the box. With a proper adapter, recharged the phone from 0 to 56% in half an hour, and a full charge took an hour and 17 minutes. There's also support for wireless charging here. In fact, the phone is Qi 2.1 ready, but it lacks the magnets inside, so you need to use a case that has them, and even then, charging speed is still rated at just 15 watts. The cameras of the S25 include a 50-megapixel main cam, a 10-megapixel 3x zoom, and a 12-megapixel ultrawide cam. No updates over last year. However, there could be changes in the camera performance thanks to the new chipset and AI processing. Let's find out. During the day, the photos are clean with a good amount of detail, wide dynamic range, and punchy yet not over-the-top colors. However, nowadays, competing camera phones can do better when it comes to sharpness. We may have praised these photos 2 or 3 years ago, but the industry is moving at a rapid pace. At night, the phone can use automatic night mode processing, but in most cases the system will prefer the standard photo mode, unless it's very dark. The regular nighttime photos have a laid-back processing with good highlight retention, but not very bright shadows. There's plenty of noise too, and the color rendition is nice. Forcing the night mode on cleans up the noise and boosts sharpness and contrast. There's also an aggressive increase in micro contrast, but the results are still an improvement in certain scenes. The 3x telephoto cam produces decent daytime photos which match the main camera's processing in terms of colors and contrast. However, sharpness and fine detail leave more to be desired. The zoom camera seems to be struggling at night. The photos aren't the sharpest, and they're very noisy with washed out colors. The night mode brings out a bit more detail, fixes the color saturation, and brightens up the shadows, but the end result is still far from ideal. When it comes to the ultra-wide cam, we fear we might have gotten a lemon. The camera has fixed focus, and it's possible that this one may have a misaligned lens. This affects sharpness unevenly, even in the center of the frame. Here's a comparison with the S25 Plus's supposedly identical ultra-wide cam. There we see the definition is much better, and the overall processing seems to nicely match the main cameras. Due to the misaligned focus we already mentioned, the ultra-wide camera's low-light photos are a letdown due to their poor sharpness. Here are again a few samples from the Galaxy S25 Plus to show you what this camera is supposed to be capable of. You get nice definition and very good dynamic range, regardless of whether we use the auto mode or force the night mode on. There's no change in the selfie camera this year, which is a good thing, because we like the selfies from the S24, and we appreciate the autofocus. The subject is always well exposed, and you get natural skin tones, excellent colors, wide dynamic range, and plenty of detail to go around. All 4 cameras on the Galaxy S25 can record videos in up to 4K at 60 FPS, and the main cam can do 8K recording too. 4K clips from the main camera are clean, sharp, and detailed, with wide dynamic range, good contrast, and punchy colors. It easily holds up to the flagship standard. The 3x zoom video is very detailed, decently sharp, and has a wide dynamic range. We also like the color reproduction and the clean look. The ultra-wide camera on our unit produces somewhat soft-looking video, so here's one from the S25 Plus instead. It looks nice, with okay dynamic range and good colors. The electronic stabilization works great here, it's some of the best around. Footage comes out very smooth. And at night, the main cam can record nice videos, with plenty of detail and decent noise reduction. However, we've seen slightly better clips from competing phones. So there you have it guys, the Samsung Galaxy S25. It's overall a solid compact flagship, with the same features we liked last year. However, Samsung is acting like there was no need for any updates, and there are definitely improvements that could have been made here. The charging speed isn't fast, and the cameras are starting to feel outdated. Competitors have better battery life too. So while the Galaxy S25 is a good phone, Samsung's vanilla flagship is harder to recommend this time around. Thanks for watching guys. If you're looking for alternatives, one you can check out is the Google Pixel 9 Pro. And another solid competitor is the iPhone 16. Let us know what you think and I'll see you on the next one.